This is an early stage axe. There are lots of flakes driven off the edge. That's what all of these flake scars are here. And all of these are flakes removed from the exterior edge. And when they make an axe, this is how they start. They start with removing flakes around the outside edge until they get close to the shape they want. Then they'll pack it into shape, and then they'll smooth the final axe down then. But that's an early stage axe. In chert tools, a lot of these tools begin with core bifaces. And they start by taking flakes around to get a fairly uniform bifacial edge on them.
No, I'm sorry. Now, which side is? Let's start with the axe. Which side is that from?
All of these will be from the late archaic side.
So this is around the Palmyra area.
This is the Palmyra area. Yes.
Okay.
And then they'll start refining the edge better. And they're aiming for what we call a Sedalia lancelet point. I don't happen to have one up here right now. But so they're making long, narrow projectile points. This one's a failure because they had a big flake driven out of the side of it. So, and this is a late archaic stemmed point. It's a failure because it has end shock on it, and so it's broken in the middle. But it's a square stemmed point, so it's a late archaic point. And this is kind of the final product. This is what we call a Graham Cave point. It's a little earlier. It's the earliest point we have from the site, but this will show you a lot of what we talked about earlier. It's been retouched and resharpened several times. So the edge angle, it keeps getting steeper and steeper. In fact, this one was in the process of being reworked yet again. So you can see how there's a nice little curve where they're starting to resharpen it again, but they've decided the edge angle is getting pretty steep, so they finally threw that one away. And this one is a projectile point, but it has a proximal failure. And but this shows you the color change that occurs in heat treatment. This is the color of the chert, and then after it's heat treated, then it turns pink like that. So.
And the heat treatment is what made that site so unique to you.
Yes, yes. And this is this is what we call a preform. After this stage, then we get
this stage?
After this stage, then they go down to a thinner, long stage like this. That's what we call a preform stage. That's a blank stage. This is a preform stage. And this is broken again by end shock. What happened was they drove a flake off here, and it continued all the way through and took off the entire top of the artifact. So working chert is not that difficult, but it can be dangerous. You're almost always kind of wind up with a failure if you're not careful. So,
is there any indication, any knowledge on how long it would have taken someone to make one of these? I presume for those people doing it all the time, probably not as long as you or I.
That's right. Flint knappers today can produce something on the order of this within 8 to 10 minutes. So
wow.
It goes pretty quickly.
Wow, okay.
If we go over to the late woodland site then, I wanted to show you that this is a little knife. It's been heavily heat treated as well. It's a knife because it doesn't have a particularly sharp point, and it doesn't have any mechanism for hafting on the proximal end. So that's used for cutting tool only. It's not really a projectile point. But then these are late woodland potsherds. They're from ceramic vessels that are made and fired, and you'll see that they have cord-marked exteriors on the outside of them. And the cord marked is what we call the surface finish. It's just cord roughened, and it makes the pot not quite so slick. So when you pick it up, it's not so easy to drop.
Okay.
But literally, these potsherds are by far, on late woodland sites, they're by far the most common artifacts that we find. So.
All right.